tonight. It is Wednesday. We are live at 5 o'clock. I went live a couple minutes early just to make sure that the sound is working. So hopefully you can hear me. Super excited about tonight because it's an Ask Me Anything. And it's usually one of the most favorite topics because you get to ask me anything on a certain subject. So as long as everyone can hear me, can everyone hear me? Okay. All right. As long as everyone can hear me. I usually wait a couple minutes people to jump on. Like I said, I went a couple minutes early. So I see one person, so let me know where you're from. Oh, hello, Jace. Jace, audio is good. That's my audio tech person. 3 viewers. So I see people jumping on. If you're, hey, Lucia, how are you? All right, good. I know we've been having an issue lately. I don't know what the deal is. Hi, everyone. We had a lot of people that wanted to join tonight. Everyone loves the Ask Me Anythings because we can talk direct. You can ask me questions, and I usually like to do it on a certain topic. To kind of narrow down the questions, so I'm not getting questions about 1099 employees or how much I pay people or what the routine looks like. So tonight's training or Ask Me Anything is on avoiding hiring the wrong employees in your business. For those of you tuning in for the first time, because we got some new people register. My name is Cheryl Hasher. I'm a maid service owner. I own a company called Maid Brite, Brite, in the Boston, Massachusetts area. I'm also a cleaning business coach, and I founded this group, Sisters Who Scale, and I help other cleaning business owners learn how to grow their cleaning business, their revenues, learn how to authentically sell, no overhype, just good, clean, service-oriented tips and tricks to get you out of your own head and into the minds of your potential prospects, potential employees, so you can create your legacy for your kids, your families, and live the life that you've always dreamed of. And I'm pretty sure that that is why we all started our cleaning business, right? I would assume. So I help you do that. If you stay with me, I guarantee every training I do will be helpful, and there'll be huge takeaways from that, whether you're just watching the lives or you decide to work with me in private or join one of my programs. You always want to remember that you always want to do more learning and less complaining. All right. I took my own company from zero. I started solo cleaning myself with a mop and a bucket and that whole story, right? To put food on the table. I scaled it from $0 over 750K, just house cleaning, doing the result producing activities that I teach all of you on these lives, and I teach my clients. There's a ton of success stories in the group. And you can see the results of what other owners who took a chance on themselves, invested in themselves, and decided to work with me. So a lot of owners with my guidance are hitting $250,000 a year. That's the first pinnacle. And they're going to be on their way to hitting $500,000 a year. So how do numbers like that, how do those numbers happen? You got to show up for yourself. You got to show up for me, right? Because I give you the tools to do it. And you have to be willing to do what it takes and keep going so you can keep growing, right? Keep growing. Let me check to see who else is on here. Hey, Lucia. Dustin, how are you? Ooh, I saw you earlier when I was jumped in there. Okay, I'm just going to start. So tonight's live, fire away with your questions. How do you avoid hiring the wrong employees for your maid service? This is your chance to ask me about anything on hiring. So I'm just gonna just sit here. Hey, Libby, how are you? What's up, girl? Libby was in the Drop the Mop, and she's now in the Sisters Elite circle with me, and on her way to hitting $250,000. So she's a mover and shaker down in Memphis, Tennessee, soon to be Mississippi, because she actually bought a new car and she's buying a new home. In the last year. So she's motivated. She shows up for herself. She does the work. She doesn't blame outside forces for things that are going on. And basically, she makes shit happen. She bought a new car and a new house. So need I say more? All right. Who has questions? Who has questions for me? I'm just going to sit here and wait for people to ask me questions on hiring. Okay, go. questions on hiring. Let's see. All right, who has questions? This is your chance to talk to me. Hiring is probably one of the most difficult pieces of the whole business. Definitely one of the most difficult pieces for the whole business because you're having to rely and depend on other people. So a lot of times that has to do with, you're having to motivate people, right? And it's difficult when you have to motivate people to come to work all the time. But there's certain things you need to do to inspire them to want to be part of your group. Okay? Does anyone have any questions for me? I don't want to start picking people out to ask questions. This is an Ask Me Anything, so you guys bring your questions to me. So who here, I know Lydia has employees because I'm working with her. I know Lucia, you have employees. Ashley, Russell, you have employees too, right? I think you do. What are some challenges that are going on right now in your business? Let's open it up like that. What are some challenges that are going on right now? Okay. Lucia, do you do a pre-screening call appointment prior to an official interview in-person appointment? Okay, I knew you had employees, Ashley. Okay. Lucia says, do you do a pre-screening call appointment prior to an official interview? More 1099s. That's right. You were. We talked last year, I think. You were doing 1099s. Lucia, okay. So I hire on Indeed. That's what I use. It works the best. Facebook, I find, is iffy. Very iffy when you get reliable people from Facebook. So I use Indeed. And the pre-screening is not a phone call. I do my pre-screening over the Indeed with the chat. All right, that's what I use. I use the chat, and there are certain questions I ask them to qualify. So I'm always trying to weed people out. Right, that's my thing. When I'm hiring, I'm always trying to weed people out so I can get to the good people, so I can keep the good people, and not have to weed those people out. So it's all usually on the right hand side when you're looking at Indeed, and then I say hi, so and so, thank you for applying to Maid. We'd like to set up a Zoom interview. I do Zoom interviews first. My first interview is a Zoom interview. And hi, Zoe Lynn. I'll answer that in a second. First interview, Zoom interview. And then, so my qualifier is, to answer your question, my qualifier is that little chat area. So if they don't answer me, I usually don't get back to them. I figure, oh, well, they're not, present or whatever. And you can have people that answer you and set up an interview and still blow you out. It happens. But that's usually what I do for the first time. That's my pre-screener. I don't do phone calls. I want to see the person. I want to see what they look like. I want to see how they show up to the interview, because if they're showing up in their bathrobe like one lady did to me before, chances are she's going to show up to work in slides, and that's not going to work, right? So that woman didn't. We do a first interview Zoom, second interview either in person or Zoom. She didn't have a shot in hell to make it to the second interview because she showed up in a bathrobe, right? Things to avoid. Bathrobes, slides, people interviewing from bed. Yes, that's happened too. You don't want that to happen. So that's my first pre-screener. That's what I do. It's not an option anymore to do phone calls because I want to see what the person looks like, right? Let's be honest. Some people can't do this job. You know what I'm talking about, right? They have to be, they have to look the part. If you're doing residential, which a lot of you are, you're in people's houses. You need to look good. You can't have tattoos all over your face. Sure, you can have tattoos on your arm. It's fine, whatever. But you can't look really crazy because you're gonna scare your clients, right? So you gotta get a read on them. That's the most important thing. Okay. Zoe, favorite question to ask during the first interview. All right, this is a good one. I asked them. You're welcome, Lucia. Zoe, I asked them. So, what made you decide to apply for a cleaning position? Right? You want to know why. You want to know why they're asking, why they're wanting a job, right? So you're looking for, I love cleaning. I consider myself OCD. Those are the actually correct answers, because you want people to be obsessed about cleaning because they know they're going to they're going to do a good job. What you don't want to hear is, I really need a paycheck, because then they're just going to be, hit it and quit it. They might just come work with you for a little while, see the next shiny object. Dunkin' Donuts is paying 19 wherever they are, and they're off for the next dollar. So you really want someone that wants to grow with a company, and it's vested, and then likes to clean, because there are people that will apply for cleaning jobs. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm looking. These are the people that I don't hire." And this happened to me today, because we're about to hire again for September. Someone said, I've worked as an admin. I've worked as an admin. I've had very retail jobs and admin jobs, but I wanted to try something new. Yeah, not on my watch, not in my company. We don't want someone new, because then you know how long it's going to take to train someone up to your standards to clean professionally, right? So if someone says, I'm looking for a new adventure, you're just not going to hire them. That I can tell you. Okay. Lucia says, I usually ask them if they know anything about the company. Yep, they're trying to work for. That's a great answer, or a great, question. Most of them fail, but I've been surprised a couple of times. Yep, yep, that's a great question. What else are good questions? Cleaning company. Okay, I ask them if the hours work. I talk about the hour. Everything. I disclose everything in the job ad, which I teach people how to write the right job ads. I disclose everything in there. All right, pay all this up, because you continually want to disqualify people, because you want to get, a good solid crew, and you're not gonna interview 20 people. You're probably gonna interview 6, 7, 8 people, maybe out of like 50, right? Let's face it, because you're gonna weed them out. So I weed them out. What other good questions? I ask if the hours work. I ask if the pay works. There's no sense in going to a second interview if this person thinks they're going to negotiate the pay. So the pay is listed in the ad. I go over the pay. I go over the hours. I make sure they have a reliable vehicle. I don't want to be having to depend on an Uber and stuff, because Ubers get expensive, and we're not paying $100,000 jobs. So you can't pay them, the amount that they're going to pay for an Uber to get to work every day is going to cut into their paycheck. So those are the qualifying things I ask. All right. Who else? Who else has questions? Ashley, any questions about hiring? Anything about you just said no more 1099s, so I'm wondering why no more 1099s, Ashley, if you're still on. All right, who else has questions? Who else has questions? Okay. Dustin, okay. How hard was it for you to first hire employees? How hard was it to keep employees? Do you have any employees now, Dustin? I feel like you do. So first question, how hard was it for you to first hire employees? I hired people that I knew. I hired people under the table. Don't do that. I've done a lot of the things that you guys are doing or have done. That's why I'm at a place to tell you that you don't want to do that, right? So I've hired people under the table. I hired people that just thought they were doing me a favor, right? They weren't real employees. When I first started hiring real employees, my first employee was a 1099, and I was doing her a great disservice, because she didn't have any write-offs, right? She didn't write off her chemicals. They were my chemicals. I was giving her schedule. She was cleaning with me, right? That was a disservice, right? That's unethical, right? I did that, right? One person. Then I switched to W-2. Hi, Victoria. Hiring is a pain in the peach. We know what she means. Do I have a probation period? 30 days. Ashley Russell asked, do you have a probation period? 30 days. So the real probationary period is the first week. And I usually say You can work the first week, see if you like it. If you don't like it, we'll cut you a check. Usually I don't put that person through payroll. I'll just cut them a check, because in the state of Massachusetts, you can pay $600 and not pay taxes on it, not pay payroll taxes. So that's what I do. So real probationary period is 1 week, and then the first 30 days, anything can happen in the first 30 days. They can quit, they can no show, expect anything, expect a potential circus the first 30 days. Once you get through the first 30 days, you're usually okay. Ashley, more control over employees versus 1099. 100%, 100%. You can train, you can provide supplies, you no longer have to worry about them not carrying insurance either. That's a big thing. When you have 1099 employees, you technically can't control them. Technically not. Sometimes you can get some of them to listen to you, but sometimes you can't, right? And so the problem with 1099s is that they're always going to favor their own clients, if they have clients, because they make more money. So are you better off having W-2s? 100%. Do you have to pay payroll taxes? 100%. Just thank God you don't live in Massachusetts like me in Victoria, because you'd be paying more. But no, that's true. Ashley says company profits more this way. How so? I'm curious. How did you profit more this way? I'm sure people would like to know that. Oh, Dustin, it's just me and my daughter. Okay, all right. Are you looking to hire, Dustin? Do you need to hire? Is the daughter getting tired of cleaning? I work with another woman, Janet, up in Hampton, New Hampshire. She's in the Drop Them Up program, and she works with her daughter, and her daughter's getting tired and looking for another job. That's why I ask. Ashley Russell finally knows her numbers. Yay. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Lucia. Hi, Kelly. Lucia. Best place to hire. Do you mean best platform to hire? I use Indeed. That's what I use. I use Indeed. Every time I get on the live, can I just tell you? Every time I get on the live, my nose gets itchy. What, is that like a psychological thing? I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, super helpful. That's helpful, Ashley. Yeah, I'm not a fan of 1099 because you can't control them. You technically can't give them a schedule. You can say, okay, you can pick from a couple of jobs. I mean, sometimes you can get them to give a schedule, but it's like, if they don't carry insurance and don't have their own supplies, things like that, they don't have write-offs. So they pay, they pay a lot in taxes, right? So that's not really what you want to do. But okay, who else? All right, Ashley, this is interesting. When I was doing 1099, I paid a flat rate per job. Okay, 25-75 split. Okay, got it. Favoring the 1099. Okay, you were giving them 75. Once I went all employees and having rates in that sweet spot, company makes me more money, because even in an 8-hour day, hourly comes out less than flat rate. Yeah, sister. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yep, totally. Yeah, that wasn't doing you any justice doing it the other way. That's awesome. Lucia, would it be better to hire a couple of part-timers versus full-time employee? Ways to avoid overtime and burnout employee. Okay, here's my take on that. It's interesting you say that. And I actually thought that I might do a live one of these times. By the way, there in the fall, there's going to be coming some of the lives. I'm going to be doing some podcasts. I'm going to interview people. So if anyone wants to be interviewed on the podcast, message me, because I'm going to be doing some podcasts at home. Okay, back to that. Lucia, all right, would it be better to hire a couple part-time people? Here's my take on part-time people. I don't find that part-time people are engaged and they call out. Now, in this industry, if you're working full-time is right around 35 hours. You can't, once you hit 40 hours, you get tired, especially if you have all females. Like, I hate to say this, but like the guys, we have guys cleaning houses, and Dustin's going to relate, they're physically more stronger than females, right? So guys can work a little bit, they can work longer. Women get tired in between 30 and 35 hours. So that's the sweet spot. That's your full time. None of my staff, they're all women during the day. They don't work any more than 35 hours a week. So when you get someone that works in between 28 and 35 hours a week, they need to show up. They need to come to work. When you get someone that's part-time, they're not serious about it. They could just maybe work, maybe not work. I've had both. I've had part-time. I've had like 20 part-time people, and then we do full-time people. The full-time people they're more engaged. They're engaged in the company culture. They're not calling out, and it's sure as heck easier to schedule less employees than more employees. Here's another thing that no one even thinks about, and Victoria's going to know. In the state of Mass, each state is different. In the state of Mass, when you go over 10 employees, when you reach an 11 employees, you hit a higher tax bracket. So I don't know if it's like that in all the states. Each state's different. Look it up with your rules. But you're going to hit a higher tax bracket. So why would you want to jeopardize yourself and pay more in taxes? Because you got to be really good at your numbers in this business, because there can be tight margins, right? So I disagree with the part-time people. The least amount of hours I let someone work is 3 days. I really don't even let them work 3 days unless they're a rock star. They have to work 4 to 5 in my company, or they don't get on the schedule because they're not engaged. So anyone that says hiring part-time people, I disagree. I disagree. That's been my experience. So, okay, Dustin, possibly looking to expand, but have been in upper management previously. I don't want to babysit. Why do you think it's babysitting? I'm being sarcastic. Daughter's happy. That's perfect. Likes the flexibility that you give her. All right, so good. So that's good. She's loyal to you. That's good. Lucia, 100%. My husband outworks me most of the time. I give him props for that. So it's nothing psychological. It's not women being lazy. Men are physically stronger than women. I mean, Victoria's husband works. David, he works. He can probably tell you. He can outwork at probably the whole team because he's crazy. He's awesome, but he's just crazy at that point. So, yeah. All right, what else? What other questions? What other questions? Ashley, that was super helpful. That was super helpful. All right, Kelly, do you have any questions? Kelly is just graduated, dropped the mop, going to be in the mastermind in September, come to see me in the retreat in 2.5 weeks. Wow, I'm psyched. Totally psyched. Lucia, blowing up with all the questions. I love it. Would someone working another side hustle industry on the weekends, then cleaning during the week? Okay, let me think if I understand this. How about the next risk of someone injuring themselves at another job, then pointing our company? Okay, what happened? Did something happen?
They said he was out.
I'm not picking up 100% of what you're asking me, Lucia. Do you want to just let me know? Would someone working another side hustle industry on the weekend? Okay, got that. During the week, how about the next risk of someone injuring themselves at another job, then pointing our company? Okay, so someone's working another job, they're pointing at your company. You're gonna ask for proof. You're gonna say, how can you say it happened? How do you know? Like, how? So my question is how do you know they hurt themselves on their side hustle? That's what I want to know. Do you have proof of that? Because that's what you're going to have to prove. Do you carry workers' comp insurance? You're in California, so you probably have to have it, just like Massachusetts. Some states don't require you to have it. Texas doesn't require you to have it. Let's all move to Texas. Um, Dustin, where are you starting new hires pay at? Dustin, what state are you in? I forget where you are. I think you might have told me, but I forget what state you're in. All right, new hires. Okay, Massachusetts, where our minimum wage is at $15 an hour. So I start people at on training pay at 15.50, 50 cents above minimum wage. That's just training pay. I've seen people, I've seen people get off training pay in as little as 3 days. I've seen people with no experience take 3 weeks. So it all depends on them, right? All depends on them. So okay, WI, that's Wisconsin. What's your minimum wage in Wisconsin? I would, if I'm gonna guess, I'd say probably 12, somewhere around there. Ashley, Texas doesn't, but I do recommend workers' comp is good to have. It is good to have, right? You don't have to have it if you're starting out. You want to keep the costs low, but it is good to have. Um, I don't know if any of you saw my recording on the Maid channel a couple of months ago. We had someone that got bit by a dog. Ugh. So that was the workers' comp claim because it happened at work. Happy joy. But we had it. Lucia, is it recommended to hire a cleaning tech during the week, but they work as a bartender on the weekends? That's okay. Would you ever consider hiring someone in the situation? Of course. I mean, they're going to make more as a bartender. You know it and I know it. But you definitely could do that. It's funny that bartenders and waitresses sometimes like this industry because it's fast paced. So case in point, I was a bartender and a server when I started this company. So I worked 7 days a week for a whole year. The first year, I wanted to hang myself. I worked 7 days a week, but I did it. $7.25, Dustin. That's crazy. You don't pay them that. What do you pay? Oh, you don't have employees. What do you pay your daughter? I'm just curious. Zoe, best way to deter employees from starting their own business and taking clients. Tell them to interview employees. No, I'm joking. I'm only kidding. So best way to deter people from starting their own business. Okay, so I would show them all that's involved. Cost of insurance, dealing with quality complaints, showing them how you have to interview people like that. I would also have them, so here's the thing. You would have them sign a non-solicitation agreement. Yeah. Have them sign a non-solicitation agreement so they can't take your clients, right? And you just say in the agreement it's punishable for up to so much money or whatever. Each state's going to be different. So again, that's a state thing, how they punish it. I've had clients that have had people, work for them, take their clients. They've taken them to court and they've won. So to have them sign it's called a non-solicitation. I know the minimum wages like in the southern states are so crazy. It's like you guys, I know you guys don't pay that. It's totally a joke. No one works for $7.25. I know, it's ridiculous. Dustin, daughter has worked for me for 3 years. Started her at 16. Good for you. That's awesome. Texas stopped allowing non-compete. So did Massachusetts. So a non-compete's different than a non-solicitation, right? However, my husband's asking me what plumber we use in B&I. He's texting me on the phone. Okay, where was I? So, daughter has worked for you. Where is that question I just had? She's 18. Okay, non-compete, non-solicitation. Non-compete is you can't stop someone from leaving your business and going and starting their own business. I mean, you really can't. You can and you can't. It's like the FCC is against it and whatever. They posted it on Maid a couple months ago, whatever. That's totally fine. But the non-solicitation, you really don't want them stealing your client. That's the biggest thing. That's more hurtful than someone deciding that they're going to go out and start their own cleaning business. You guys know, and I know that this business isn't for everyone. You have to have thick skin to be able to deal with the clients, the employees, the money, the payroll, all that stuff. Owning your own business, yes. Do I think it's better than working for someone else? 100%. 100%. I want to control the outcomes of things, right? I don't want someone to tell me when I'm taking vacation or whatever. But that's what I'm being half serious when I say show them everything that's involved with running their own business. I'm being serious because that's one way to deter them from ever going out and starting a business. And then you want to have a good company. You want people. You want to have a good company culture, so they stick around, so they stay. Right. Another one of the things I teach on the Drop Them Up is how to create a great company culture so people keep coming back. Right. Parties. We just had our beach party here at the beach house we stayed in the summer. We had a cornhole tournament, stuff like that. That stuff all works. Lucia, our minimum wage in San Francisco is $20 an hour. I know. I have two clients in California. So Zoe Lynn is from Riverside, California, and then Rachel is from, she's northern. She's even more north than San Francisco, close. Start them at 20. There's no other way around it. No, I know the minimum wage is so, like, it's no secret what's going on in this country, right? Everything's expensive. Inflation is, it's all up in every single state. We know that. And so, that's the thing. So you have to make sure you raise your prices. You have to stay competitive. You have to raise your prices, but you have to be like, you guys have to know your profits. You have to know your profits. You have to know your costs. You have to know, like, all that stuff if you want to make money. And it's just good practice too, right? It's good practice to know your numbers, do quarterly audits, stuff like that. All right. Any more questions? This is good. I love when you guys fire questions at me, because these things are what goes on, like, in your brain during the week, and you're like, I have no one to ask me these questions. So that's why I need to. That's why I need to have these more often, and that's why I'm going to have a podcast. So the podcast is going to be a discussion with different guests and things like that. So, anyone else have any questions? Oh, okay, message there. Anyone else have any questions for me? Dustin, Zoe, anyone? There has to be a few more. Has to be a few more. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, Ashley. Top 3 ways to market new hires. Okay. Top 3 ways to market to get new hires. Is that what you mean? No. If is that what you mean? I think that's what you mean. All right. Let me know if that's what you mean. I'll hit you back. Okay. Dustin, what benefits do you offer your employees? So, in Massachusetts, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, in Massachusetts, we have something called Mass Health, which is Medicaid. So it's actually cheaper for everyone in the state of Massachusetts to go on that than it is to pay insurance. We do offer life insurance, and that's cheap for every employee, so you can do that. That should be fine. Okay, how do you get your employees to stay? Company culture. I treat them well. I pay them as much as I can with still taking a profit. And when I hire people. I personality match people, so I don't hire someone if I don't think they're going to match my current employees. That's a big difference. All right, I'm going to take one more question. Do you provide uniforms? I do. I don't have it on tonight, but I do have uniforms. When I do my impromptu videos, I usually have my Maid bright shirt on. And I just apply the top. The bottom is like leggings, sneakers, something comfortable. We don't do any crazy peanuts or anything like that. So I don't charge them. I give them the shirts. Give them a few. Don't give them, they can't take 20 shirts a week. You know what I mean? You give them a couple at a time or whatever. But yeah, okay, that's how I get my employees to stay. I love these things. So if you're watching this on replay, you can still ask me a question. I will still answer it for you. So if anyone is having really bad problems with employees and you would like some further help, we should chat. I have a couple of spots open in the Drop Them Up. I have a couple of private spots open where I work directly with you on Zoom, one-on-one. My clients are getting fantastic results. I've had people work through their hiring. I've had people triple their revenue. Candace has tripled her revenue. Janet Baker went from like 8,000 to like almost 20,000 a month in 6 months. Getting real results. I like to just start from ground zero, and we rip the band-aid off. We see what's going on. We get in there, we roll our sleeves, and we go to work. That's how I work. I don't bullshit anybody, because I really want results for you. And it speaks. The results speak, because I try to post them and the testimonial in the group. So, absolutely, Dustin. Lucia, I'll sidebar you on how to avoid employees milking the clock. That's so much fun. That's another topic that we could talk about for another 30 minutes. Maybe that should be a podcast. Um, Cap all the jobs, make the schedule. Yep, yep, that's one way of doing it. You just gotta, sometimes you just gotta watch them. You know what I mean? They're employees. All right, everyone, this was awesome. If you have any questions, you're watching this on replay, you can still get them answered. You have an amazing evening, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. All right, have a great night.